Okay, almost ready to go. Scott Gillespie to play Craig Lakin on the winner's side. Technically it's the last 32, 16 left on the winner's side, and obviously the loser's side are still making their way through the ranks to get back there for those that have already been eliminated once. So best of 21 again, and it's going to be some match, this one. Scott Gillespie in great form, having just come fresh from winning the Worlds, and he's been a winner here also at this venue, so he's no stranger to proceedings here. Here we go then, lag for the break. And for those of you that are tuning in tonight that don't or aren't familiar with the rules are slightly different. The fouls aren't 2 shots, there's no 1 free shot plus visit, it's just 1 shot. And if you miss coming out of a snooker or foul coming out of a snooker, then your opponent can pick the ball up and place it where he wants it, anywhere on the table. But he doesn't get 2 shots, or he doesn't get 1 free shot plus visit. So these are some of the slight differences. And you can't pot your last ball onto the black, with the black being over the pocket and play to the skill shot. You have to pot the black itself direct. So that's another. There's just a few things with these Supreme rules that are a bit different from, but the main one being that you don't get a second visit. It's just 1 straight shot from where the ball lands. You know, you can play the deliberate foul, pot your opponent's ball, but they can't pick the white up. They have to play it from where the white stops. So, having got past those, a couple of formalities, it's on to the action, and Scott Gillespie to break first, having won the leg. I'm sure somebody will join me in the commentary at some point when somebody decides they want to come over, but until then, that's fine by me. Okay, Scott Gillespie unlucky there, good break-off shot, kicked in off. So, a bit of frustration there, walks away from the table. A lot of movement in the arena there, people walking past tables. A lot of bodies, a lot of movement in the club tonight. It's always the same on the by the Saturday, Friday and Saturday, but by the Sunday there's a lot more space generally. A lot of people have gone home by then, those that have lost twice, etc. So anyway, Craig Lakin to play, ball in hand. But like I said, he doesn't get 2 visits, it's just 1 visit. Surprising choice. I thought he'd be playing reds here myself, personally. Yeah, I'm going to say strange choice of shot if he'd chose yellows there. That's okay, that's worked out all right. So a chance to strike first here. Get on the scoreboard first. Red's in play. Yeah, that's okay. He's got to negotiate a decent positional shot here. Finish nice on the red, that's nearest the blue spot. He's just landed awkward. Another inch there would have been perfect to be able to pot the red into the yellow corner pocket and draw the white back for the one near the blue spot, but there's work to be done in that. No, he's thinking of jacking the cue up, but doesn't like that. Okay, I'm going to be joined in the commentary box by Seb Webb. And hopefully we don't get on each other's nerves too much and play silly games like we did at Doncaster. You've turned my mic off, silly.
No, we're on, mate.
How you doing, Seb?
Yeah, serious stuff tonight, Reggie.
Absolutely, yeah. No locking about here. But he's got him first off kicking off Scott's break. So can't, from my point of view, I would say.
Imperative to get off to a good start.
Yeah, exactly, Seb, exactly. Make your opponent pay for that, you know, make him feel the full force of the fact that he's been unlucky, take full advantage.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you?
You've got, yeah, at
You've
this
got to
level.
get that first frame on the board early doors and just settle into the match.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, he's just going to drop this in, I
talking
think.
from a
Bit
vast
pacey.
array of experience.
I think he can hold this, just drag off
I
two
think so, a
rails.
bit of bottom and right-hand side,
he'll
check
just,
the white up.
check it off 2 rails, I think.
Or is he going to play it plain?
No,
Looks
he can't
he's
play it
going
plain.
No, he's
2
right.
rails.
Managed to stun it.
Yeah,
nice
it's
little
perfect.
stun shot. Didn't play it as much as well. Say, you know, sometimes when you're looking at the angle from our commentary, it doesn't always appear apparent where he's cueing the white, but obviously he stabbed it in the end and screwed across. Good finish, Craig Lakin. So 1-0, like Seb says, he's got off to a good start. Just what you want at this level. You don't want to be getting off.
You've got to get into match early doors. Standing
Get
the
someone
play,
like Scott's
you can
caliber.
fall 4 or 5 frames behind without even taking a shot.
And be looking around, wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I asked Brian Alcoa playing earlier. He was 5-0 down, not even on a shot at table, just 2 dry breaks, and you're 5-0 down. So that's what I mean. You get that first frame on board, and
makes a massive.
Ah, right, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've got 2 commentators already.
We didn't know.
Right, lads, they've actually got 2 commentators for this match, so
right, okay,
we're going to love you and leave you, and we're going to hand over to...
Yeah, we didn't know. We're going to hand over to Ben and
Gareth Potts.
Yeah, so, listen, enjoy the action. We didn't know there was nobody sat here, so we came over and put the headphones on. Not to worry. So
as soon as they get here, we'll just eject from the box. So we'll go support Craig from a...
There we go. Oh, the guy's ready to come over. Well, might as well just wait for them to come over, and when they come over, we'll hand over the headphones.
Yeah, they'll not be too long, I shouldn't imagine.
No, so best thing we'll just stay with them until we see them more or less here, and then just hand over to the guys. Here's Gareth Potts now.
He's here now, so...
Okie dokie, we'll hand over to Gaz and
Ben Flack, I believe it is. So yeah, cheers for that, ladies. Short but sweet.
Short but sweet.
We'll go rail Mr. Lakin.
See you later. Okay,
ciao for now.
Handing over to Gaz Potts and Ben Flack.
Okay, everyone, change of commentary team. And you have to say that I don't think this match is going to take very long. Both of these guys are unbelievably attacking, and both of them play quick. Just give you an update on a few of the scores just while I wait for Ben Flack, who's the representative from the title sponsor of this event, Home Leisure, that's going to join me. I'll just give you a few of the scores. Adam Davies 4-3 up against Rob Chilton. Christy Caulfield beat Jimmy Croxton 8-2. Darren McVicker beat Stefan Rosidi 8-3. Appleton is 3-2 down to Muchid Amar. Dylan Leary 7-4 against Jordan Church. Maybe a little bit of a shock to some. Ryan Piscini only just started against Fernandez 1-0. Mick Hill and Jordan Templeton 6 each. Ronan McCarthy 3-1 up against Clint. Chipperfield seems to be blowing people away in that loser side. He's won 8-1. Apologies, there's people on the stream saying it's a little bit quiet, is it? Apologies, hold on, I'm just trying to turn it up a little bit. Hopefully that's a little bit better and you can hear me now.
Hiya guys, how you doing?
So, yeah, those are the scores. Hopefully you can hear us a bit clearer now. I've took the volume. Yeah, so I'm just going to welcome Ben Flack into the commentary. He's the representative to our title sponsor, which is Home Leisure Direct. Ben's now worked for them for a little bit of time now. So, unfortunately, Andy, one of the owner, couldn't be here today. Maybe he'll be here tomorrow, but he's got a few issues back home. So you're here on his behalf, Ben?
Yeah, of course. It's been a good weekend so far. Tournament's running really well. Some great standard, of course.
And obviously, you being a top player yourself, Ben, it must get the juices flowing a little bit, has it? Just watching a tournament like this.
It's a bit hard not having my cue out.
Yeah.
It's still great to watch, of course. Scott looking good for the finish, yeah.
Yeah, so we obviously just picked this up. We didn't see what happened the first frame, but obviously it's 1-0 to Lakin, and this is a decent finish because he's had to play a skill shot, and I don't think this match is going to take too long, to be honest.
No.
Both of these players are quick. They're both attacking and both in form. I mean, there's certainly if there's anyone else on the planet that's had a season like Scott Gillespie's had this year.
It's been fantastic, hasn't it?
It has.
Was it 2 out of the first?
Yeah, well, he's won 2. He's won 2 of the 4. Obviously, between him and Phil, they've won 2 each. He's just won the BI event last weekend up in Bridlington, the World Championships. And to be honest, I don't know what other events he's won, but I know he has won some others. I think he's won a few events in Scotland as well. And I'm not sure exactly on the IPA tour, to be honest, to being a little bit sort of ignorant to that, but I'm not sure what else. But I know he has won some other events, and he obviously has had an unbelievable year.
He's a fantastic player, and he's been around for quite some time as well, but he's really showing his form this year.
Yeah, I think he's always obviously been a fantastic player, but certainly the last couple of years he's just sort of burst onto the scene and he's and just as I'm saying that, he's having trouble racking the balls up.
Craig's obviously a player as well, played quite a lot of money matches as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I do think that helps, the fact that, he does play a lot of money matches, and what tends to happen with the money matches is the races are long, so what then tends to happen of that is you, when you're practicing for a money match, you're playing a race to 25 or a race to 30, so you tend to play that race in practice. So all round, you just tend to be playing a lot more.
Less restricted as well when you're playing the first 25. You can really sort of open up and let your game.
Yeah, you can. And what I sort of mean by that is I think that these players that are playing the money matches, or sort of almost week in, week out, they are obviously practicing to that distance. They're playing the matches to that distance, so they're just living on the table. They're playing a lot of pool. I'm not saying the other top guys who are not playing money matches are not playing as much pool, but I don't think they're playing as much competitive pool because these lads are obviously playing in the tournaments and then they're playing all the money matches on top. So, they're almost on the table more than the cloth sometimes.
Really sharp, aren't they? All the time.
Yeah, and there's no substitute for match practice. I'm sure Ben, that you can practice as much as you want on the practice table, but if you're not match sharp and you haven't been playing them matches, you could have done 8 hours a day for the last month, and you turn up to the tournament, you just feel edgy and it's hard to settle, and there just really isn't any substitute for that match practice and that match sharpness.
I often found that sort of when I was having a series of results, it was when I wasn't practicing as much, but just generally playing more events and then building myself up for that event, sort of practicing the week before a lot harder, and just prior to that, just knocking the balls about and being on the table and just sort of keeping my eye in, but then practicing for a certain event.
Yeah.
Rather than over-practicing all the time.
So Scott's obviously tried to kick into the red there, and he'll be a bit disappointed with that because he's got no shot now other than to play the yellow that would develop. Obviously, Craig's only bad ball. And it was quite a big target, that, really, so he'd be disappointed not to contact either the red or the yellow.
Difficult to hide as well. Opened him up a bit now. If the red goes up in the corner past the other.
Clever shot from Craig.
Yeah, decent.
He played the red into the yellow that would kick the yellow away from the middle, and she used the 3 reds as a blocker. And he knew he would probably be leaving him this yellow on the side rail, but it doesn't double into the middle.
Not really much you can do for it. Maybe the treble.
Treble's an option, or glancing off it with left-hand side and running the cue ball somewhere into bulk to maybe try and find a hiding place.
He's gone for it. Imagine Scott be notching up another frame here.
I actually do like watching Craig play. He, although answers on a postcard what that one was. I do actually like watching him play.
He's good and he's quick.
He's quick, and he is a very talented kid. He pots some really good balls, and he does at times make the game look very easy.
It's a shot here, maybe the red off the red.
Obviously a good shot maker as well.
Double or the cut?
I think he might have to play the... And he's perfect.
Just knocked the double in like it was nothing.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, the players that are a little bit looser with the cue ball, shall we say, than, you know, maybe the top sort of elite players, you know, like a Phil Harrison type who almost, you know, puts the cue ball on a sixpence every shot. Someone like Craig and a Malin, and, you know, I'm not just pointing Craig out on that, you know, like a Craig, a Malin, those type players where the cue ball is a little bit looser. They do tend to be the players that are great shot makers because they're used to having to sort of get themselves out of trouble, you know, from time to time with the positional errors. You know, it's no coincidence that whenever, you know, you see all the videos that, you know, Malin keeps playing sort of great shots that even a lot of players wouldn't even see, to be honest. It's no coincidence that it's him that's always playing those shots, you know, where he's coming off 2 rails, kicking balls, and coming off 2 rails and doubling a ball in like he did last night, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's no coincidence that, you know, it's him, and a lot of the time it's because, you know, his cue ball's a little bit sort of out of position, and then he just recovers with unbelievable shots.
He does get him, doesn't he? But then, like you said, if he's having to play him with that a little bit more often, then he will get them. And some of the scores looking on the other tables.
Yeah, so Adam Davies and Chilton, 4-all. What else have we got? Appleton and Omar, 3-all. Piscini's now 2-0 up against Fernandez. Mikkel is showing 7-6 on there. I don't know if that match is still being played, actually, or whether Mick has won. It has finished.
8-6 just popped up.
Yeah, it has popped up. So
yeah.
Mikhail has beat Jordan Templeton 8-6. Ronan McCarthy 4-1 up against Clint Jansen. Chipperfield has blew Brian Alcrow away 8-1. Jez Graham, Andrew Mackey is 1-0. And Craig Brown, Tobias Bolt 4-3 to Craig. Malin 2-1 up against Phil. Hibbert already 2-0 up against Josh Kane. And Carl Morris, Declan Brennan 1-0. Money making to break. Just had a swig of the snake bite and black. Gets down and crunches the break. And may not have. Oh no, he's okay on the on the reds. I thought he might not have had the easiest of starters, but I think the only ball he can pot is the snick back into this bottom right corner on the red.
What are your thoughts with the shark rack?
I think it's the best invention ever. I just think that it guarantees all 15 balls to be touching every single time, which then makes it fair for every player.
Yeah, very true.
So, you know, it's not down to whether you've got a good ref or the ref's being inconsistent with racking the balls up. It's just, you know, you've both got exactly the same rack in exactly the same place every time.
Especially with the way this cloth plays, I think it makes a huge difference.
I think he tried to just glance off the edge of the red there just to kill the pace of the cue ball, and he just got hold of it too much and has just slid past it, which has left this a little bit thinner than he wanted. And because
kind of what you were saying a minute ago about just being that slight bit looser with the cue ball.
Yeah. And couldn't have gone much worse, really, where he's left him. Could he's pushed all the reds into pottable positions. Scott's going to push his yellow to the rail after he's potted this. I thought he might have played it a bit harder, you know, just to bump it to the rail so he wasn't bridging on this one next, but maybe he's going to clear this bottom end first.
Leaves a big open area up there with the 3 reds once these are gone.
Yeah, I think he'll just play this with left-hand side. Maybe a little bit of just below centre and just drift the cue ball up somewhere sort of into the around the bulk line. Anywhere around the bulk line's perfect. Play on the red into the left middle next. See, I would have been taking this as my last ball, this one, so it's just a stun for the black.
And for me. Needs to find the right angles now.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem though.
So the angle he's left on this red means he's going to have to play the black into the corner, not the middle. And the way that Scott plays is because he sort of backs himself with his technique and his cue action, he's happy to leave those sort of blacks. It's not a it's not an issue. It's not a big deal just to leave the cue ball in an area and just say, right, well, you know, doesn't really matter where it is, I'm going to pot it.
Yeah, a lot of players would have tried to finish just the other side of the red, wouldn't they, and drift down to play the black in the middle.
Yeah, or, you know, when they run out of position, they wince a little bit and, you know, maybe have a little bit of a sort of grimace as if to say, don't really like this, where Scott just sort of gets on with it and just says, right, well, I'm happy to leave the cue ball there. I'll just pot it anyway. Sort of a good mentality to have.
Decent, yeah. Also, it reflects on what the opponent's thinking of you as well. They can see you're not scared of anything, and tends to put a bit of doubt in their mind as well. Good break there from Scott. Quite a few options whether we could take the reds or the yellows, depending on how those three reds are together. Either way, I'd imagine him notching up another one here. Could look to attack the bunch of three from the red over on the left-hand side of the table, or if you wanted to choose yellows, maybe not the bottom one, which is the only awkward yellow, and maybe nudge the black up the table a little. Chose to attack the three. Could have worked out a little better for him, I think, unless he can just creep through into the red in the middle. Not too sure if he can actually squeeze past that one. If he can't, looks like he might have to play the double.
I presume he can't get to the potting angle of the red into the middle.
Just having a quick look through the window, I'm not too sure he can at all. Certainly from his body language, it doesn't look like he can.
And the one he's closest to mustn't pass this red into the corner, so I only really see a double.
Certainly weighing up his options anyway. Right.
What's happening here?
Go on. Just a safety.
I'll call the police. They've played a safety.
Craig managed to just cue the yellow in now. He's got a decent chance from this.
Yeah, but the yellow that's at the top of the table here with these 5 reds are a problem, aren't they? Isn't it? Because he's probably going to have to take it last if he pots this and obviously makes the 4 balls on the left side of the table. So, good decision.
Right to Scott.
By Gillespie. Sure, he won't mind me calling him that now. It is actually Gillespie, but bit of a standing joke calling Gillespie, so that's what it'll be.
Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, there was a little bit actually. One of the first times I actually commentated, I think it was one of the events that Lee ran a couple of years ago. I just somehow, I don't know, I just somehow had it in my head that his nickname was Gillespie, not Goobsy. So all the way through the match, I was calling him, and He sort of pulled me to the side after the match and said, "Oh, by the way, it's Goobsy." So I said, "Well, it's Gooseby from now on."
Yeah.
But yeah, he's played another slack positional shot there. I'm not sure if he can get through to the bottom red here. So the one that's at the bottom of the line is the one he's looking at.
Looks like he can. I just wonder if he was maybe worried about the kiss on the yellow, if it does, how close it is to that yellow. Shouldn't be a problem, though.
He just got up and said to Craig, "Do you want to get a ref, or do you just want to keep your eye on this? Because obviously it must be very close." Yeah, that was fine.
All good. And nicked the black out a little bit.
Yeah, and massive bonus in bumping the black, because he wouldn't have known what exactly what the connection was going to be on the yellow. So he'll be over the moon to bump the black over the middle there. Just lost. He's okay. He can drop the one into the middle, but just lost the cue ball again there a little bit.
A little bit more awkward than it could have been. Wow. I wouldn't have expected that at all. Maybe, not too sure, maybe if he had a little bit of a kick.
Well, I was just going to say, he must have got a kick for him to going off in the middle, did he?
Yeah.
I mean, it was all the signs of a kick, because the red obviously went thick and the cue ball jumped out wide.
Certainly be an unexpected chance for Craig.
Yeah, and it's those type of frames, Ben, that hurt a little bit, isn't it? You know, when you've sort of had an easy finish, and because what happens, I think, is when you've got a finish like Scott's just had there, you almost subconsciously count that frame, don't you?
Absolutely.
And you're almost saying, right, well, I'm 3-2 up now. Even though you've still got 5 or 6 balls to pot, you subconsciously count it. So there's a bit of a psychological blow when something like that happens. And of course, the other way around from Lakin, he subconsciously thinks, well, I'm 3-2 down.
And all of a sudden 3-2 up.
3-2 up, and his break. And I was saying on the commentary earlier, what does tend to happen is the sort of 8-ball gods do tend to punish you a little bit in situations like this. So
the game's not forgiven at times, is it?
What tends to happen is, you know, Scott's made a mistake there. Craig's obviously capitalised on it, and then I would say, you know, 80-90% of the time he'll break and clear here, so it's cost him 2 frames, the mistake.
Scott will just need to put that out of his mind, won't he, and just carry on with the rest of his match and take his chances as they come.
And as players, Ben, and, you know, as sort of what tends to happen is you end up sort of getting a bit of a, you know, try to be a perfectionist, and what tends to happen after a match is you tend to always remember the mistakes you made.
Absolutely, but if it was a kick, then the positive side of it is he won't necessarily look at it as a mistake.
And I do think it was a kick, just given the fact that where the cue ball went in off in the middle. I mean, it was never in off, playing ball. And what's going to happen again is he is,
as you said,
going to get punished, and it is going to, that mistake does look like it might cost him 2 frames.
You can just stun a crossover onto the side rail there for the awkward yellow.
Good shot, played it well.
Composing himself a little bit and making sure that he gets everything right. Obviously wants to take full advantage of the last frame as well.
And just like that, it's now 4-2.
As she said.
Getting good at this commentating, Ben, aren't I?
He's looking good there, Craig, as well. He's not showing any fear, no worries. Taking his chances as they come. But yeah, you're right with your commentary. You were spot on, absolutely.
And he is the type of character, you know, Craig, that he is a bit sort of happy-go-lucky type guy, and you can just see there that, you know, he just walks back to his table, has a swig of the snake bite and black, and then just sits back down in his chair, just waiting for the Jaeger bombs to come out. He's partial to one of them.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Given how this match has gone, I think it's important that Scott, he's hit there as well, controlled the cue ball right in the middle of the table and deserved the ball.
It's a good break.
It's a good break, and he's got an easy starter on the red. Well, I say an easy starter. It's a ball that he would expect to pop. He's looking at the yellows, but surely he's going to go reds, Ben.
I'd imagine just where the black's slightly tied up and amongst those two
But
there.
if he pops this in the middle first shot, is the cue ball not hitting the black first shot?
Certainly, though. I just wondered if it might be swinging just slightly past it.
Maybe coming slightly wide of it, yeah. I'm used to sort of looking at it with the, you know, the heavier balls.
You've got to remember this cue ball's a bit lighter, haven't you?
Well, he's playing it, but he's jacking up, and this is tough when you're jacking up off the top rail. But made it look easy and controlled the cue ball really well.
Played that superbly.
See here, he's not sort of bothering asking the ref because he's obviously just marked it with his chalk, and obviously where that ball is, it's not like it's having a big impact on anything else as long as it goes back, say roughly where it is, but within, you know, a half a millimetre of where it was, it doesn't make a difference really. I understand if it's tight going past the ball or something, then yeah, of course you need to get it marked properly.
Can't see there being much work to be done here. Maybe just not too sure on the red just below the black whether that does actually go in the corner.
And if these two reds are a dead set plant, that helps, doesn't it?
Certainly. Just popped up just to... Could have come back out a little bit further there. Much action going on in the other games.
Okay, I'll just give you a few scores. Adam Davies 6-4 up against Chilton. Darren McVicker has beaten Stefan Rasidi 8-3. Darren Appleton 5-4 up against Omar. Dylan Leary has beaten Jordan Church 8-4. Ryan Passini 3 each. Dave Fernandez. Mikhail has beaten Jordan Templeton 8-6. Rona McCarthy 4-2 against Clint. Chipperfield beat Brian Alcrow 8-1. Jez Graham 3-2 down to Andrew Mackey. Craig Brown 5-4 up against Tobias Bolt. Phil Harrison Malin locked at 3-all. Hibbett 3-1 up. Carl Morris 3-1 up. Waddingham Jack Whelan 1 each. Dunster Carl O'Donoghue 3-1. McAllister Cousins game, that's a winners qualification match that's just started. Gary Clark, Richard Toomey 2 each. And obviously Lakin 4-2.
Scott's been giving this shot quite a lot of consideration.
Well, that's made life a lot easier, the fact that that went into there. And as I said to you before, if he wants this to be a dead set plant, and the reason he wants it to be set is because to me it looks just a little bit offset, and that's why he's played on it into there, because if it wasn't offset, he was concerned of losing the red into the yellow after he'd played the plant.
lot of deliberation on that shot a couple of shots ago. He certainly made these look easy since it was obviously the key shot in the finish.
Well, felt like I know. I wonder what was going on there. Felt like he obviously felt like he had a bit too much angle and didn't want to play the little stun shot into the yellow, so just got down and flippantly dropped the double in.
I remember when I first started playing the game, the double always looked like a hard shot, but players these days just knock them in just like they're a dead straight ball.
Yeah, and on the English table, the doubles do get used quite a lot, don't they? It's a shot that does get played quite often.
Do you play much English 8-ball these days?
None at all, mate. Actually, I had Thursday night. I was down and I was playing a bit of Chinese. So I go to China next week, and I was playing a bit, and a few of the boys were in practicing, and I actually went over and I had a game with Mark Boyle. I actually used my Chinese 8-ball cue on the English table. It's the first time I've played for probably a couple of years, really. And then I had a game with Farnsworth afterwards for an hour. But no, I don't play any anymore. But
how did you find it?
Potting the balls, you know, I was okay with. It was just the physics of the cue ball, you know, of not sort of knowing naturally where it's going is the thing that would obviously catch me out. But just going back to the game here, Lakin has absolutely drilled that break, and look at the reds. It's just like
he's seconds later, he's just
like he's doing an exhibition in the club. He's just rolling around, not really even queuing up to the cue ball. And even when they are sort of really easy, it is important maybe to just give yourself that split second to make sure you don't make the... I do like the way Lakin cues, though. I do think he strikes the cue ball nice. One thing he is he's really low and parallel on the cue. You know, he's really flat, isn't he? So there's less chance of flicking a bit of side on.
Yeah, and even if he does, it's not going to have so much impact as if you are slightly raised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to know the time on that frame. Certainly wasn't long, was it?
You won't see too many quicker than that, I don't think.
I don't think I can break off the amount of time to be clearing them off.
Yannick Bofis did actually time foul on the break once.
Never.
That's true.
That must have been just after it was introduced with the time.
Actually, I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was in a tournament in France, I presume, something like the England, the European Championships or something. And I think it was something that they played in France, or maybe something like the European Championships. And I don't think it was that long ago. Probably inside a couple of years, but I will check that of what event it was. But he definitely did time foul on the break. And Scott's absolutely crunched the break afterwards, potted a couple of balls, and hasn't got the easiest of starters. Obviously, everything's in the open, but the cue ball's just found a bit of a tricky place because the yellow that's in the middle of the table, that doesn't pass into the top left corner, so he's probably going to have to play the plant on the reds. And it was a bit of a smally one, that, because there was a big gap between them.
Yeah, it was an awkward shot to play. When you're queuing well and the game's going well for you and you're slightly in front, then that shot's probably a little bit easier. But at 5-3 down, with all the momentum going Craig's way at this point, that shot was certainly a little bit tougher.
So I think Craig will pot the long yellow here into the bottom left corner and then just play the yellow off the red, just to make it a little bit easier for the black. Providing he's got the angle to just snick it off the black, off the red. He doesn't have to play it, but it does make life a bit easier. And the reason that
you know, pin across, I was thinking maybe it might have been an option.
You know, the reason I was going to say, Ben, before he played it, the reason he doesn't have to play it is because he isn't sure exactly where the red's going to go. So he was going to mark that himself, and Scott rightly so come around to check, obviously, if he definitely was on it first, which was exactly what I was saying, Ben. It's all right marking it with your chalk if it's not affecting anything.
But when it's tight past another
But when
ball,
it's tight past another ball, I think you need to get it marked just so there's no, there's no sort of controversy with it.
Of course. Just the same as sort of earlier on as well, when you considered asking him whether it was tight past the ball to play the shot.
Yeah.
There's no arguments then. Does need to get this quite right, really, just to find the right angle, just to get back down for his last yellow.
Is he on it?
Even if he was on it,
He's not.
I don't think he is. Body language says no. If he's not on the yellow, he may well just have to find sort of a decent place to put the cue ball, just to try and apply a little bit of pressure to Scott, especially bearing in mind that Craig is 5-3 up at the moment. Looks like maybe trying to chop this in. Tried to cut it in. I don't even know if he's blocked the path for the red into the bottom left corner. But not necessarily an easy starter here. May look to just drop in behind the top red's playing top left corner and just hide the white behind the red just up there.
I think it's important, Ben, that Scott wins this frame, because although it's race to 11, you don't want to be 3 frames behind.
Certainly not nowadays.
Especially the way that Craig's been breaking, because when you're almost sort of 2 frames down against serve.
And certainly once the other person creeps past the halfway mark, I think that sort of psychologically has a little bit of an impact as well. You don't want to be too far behind when someone's at reach 6.
Yeah. Good shot. Really good shot. He's in trouble.
Certainly making him think now.
He's in trouble. Because I don't see how he doesn't leave him on one of the yellows, even if he hits the red, which I think he will at the red, but how does he not leave him on one of the yellows?
That's a bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to going off, but you think he was in a spot above there.
I think he's played it right, just to sort of play it with pace, because you may well...
Just to bump it away, just trying to move something into...
Yeah, muddied the water a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you sort of, in that situation, resign yourself to the fact that you have lost the frame and just try and something might go safe from there.
Craig said he's just going to the bar to get a drink, so I think that's 2 beers he's had since I've sat down. And he's had a lot of table time, so if he'd have been 6-3 down, he might have had 3 beers.
Hopefully saving the Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, he saves the Jaeger bombs for if he gets to the final, I think. Just why he's nipped off then. just a quick mention to obviously to our title sponsors of this event, which are Home Leisure Direct. They have got a huge delivery of pool tables in for Christmas. So if anyone's wanting pool tables or anything else, check out their website, homeleisuredirect.com. They've got, well, a whole array of different. I mean, you know, you probably know more about all the products, Ben.
And still delivery available pre-Christmas as well for most of the products. That's the key thing. Is
so the main things, you know, they do loads of things, don't they?
Pool diners, obviously very popular, dedicated pool tables, so all of the range from your Supreme, from your DTs and what have you, everything's there. But a lot of the signature range is the main things that are very, very popular right now at the moment. There's still plenty of stock ready left for delivery for Christmas.
And there's air hockey tables, there's pinball machines,
everything.
There's just anything you can think of really that they sell, and ping pong.
It's a perfect for any man cave, arcade machines.
Also Supreme, and the Supreme is the tables that you're looking at. They make the tables. Aramith are the balls that you're seeing, the premium Pro Cup balls. Strachan 6811 is this new super fine grey cloth that you're seeing. K8.com. If any of you want any bets, they've got some introductory offers over there, and you can win some. I think one of them's a raffle to win a Jason Owen Q. If you open an account and deposit, I think it's £10. Jason Owen Q's as well, one of our partners. Understand that might be a bit of the boring bit for some of the people, but obviously without those people, this tournament couldn't go ahead. And, you know, without their support and sponsorship, so it is important.
There's one thing to remember as well. There's also a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, isn't there, to make the event happen?
Yeah, there is a huge amount of work, and I see that firsthand. What, you know, Lee and Lee Grout and the other guys behind the scenes do, and it is a silly amount of work.
It's not just a case of turning up, is it, and calling out the names.
No.
I think they've done a fantastic job as well.
Yeah, so Money Making's got a refill, and the way he's been hitting the brakes. Nearly hit him with the commentator's curse there, didn't I? Because he nearly went off into the middle.
Got kicked back.
But he made a ball, and look at these reds, Ben.
They just look wow. Certainly looking to stamp his authority on the match right now. Could have done with being off the cush there.
Yeah, I thought he would have played that maybe as like a bit more of a stun and just stun the cue ball between the gap of the yellow and the cushion, you know, into that mid-range.
Well, the only awkward one is the middle one of the three reds towards the top end of the table. If he could have just got himself on the top red, it would have made it easier to drop it in the middle.
Oh, what's he played here? I can only presume this red next to the black goes into this bottom left corner.
Giving himself a bit of work, but the way he's been queuing, it may not be much of an issue.
So this red that he's marking now passes the black into the left middle.
Just as a little point there, sort of when you're marking a ball with chalk, the old triangle chalk, which is obviously a square cube, I think makes it a little bit easier to mark because you can see exactly where it is. But with just a round,
good point. Good point. You don't know
you're not necessarily putting it exactly back in the same place.
Good point. You don't know you're exactly putting it back because I think he marked that with some of the Turum chalk. Yeah, good point. Never thought about that. Yeah, because with the triangle chalk, you can literally just sit it flush against the square face.
It's almost like a ball marker itself, isn't it?
So there's a few people on the chat have asked who my pick is for the event, and I did say before a ball was it. I did pick Tom Cousins, so obviously I'll stick by that. He is still going strong in the winner's side.
Obviously, Tom capable of winning any event that he goes in, but just what was your reason for picking Tom?
The reason was he is obviously a great player, and I think certainly in this series, he's had a bit of a quiet year, in the sense of I know he's still maybe 5th or 6th in the rankings, but you know, I would have expected him to be in like consistent quarters, semis, even final type guy, of someone that plays to his standard.
Yeah.
So I just thought that somebody that's as good as he is, that breaks as good as he does, that he is probably due a run.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
And I do rate him as a player. I think he's got a well, his break is obviously his biggest weapon. So I think maybe not so much of a gap between his break and others on these tables with this shark rack.
That was the point I was going to mention now. I think especially with the way the cloths play in and with the shark rack, for players who are used to sort of being at the top end, or
like the big breakers,
they're always coming to sort of the top end of the tournament, always in the semi-finals, those sort of players. I think it's more of a leveler for them, for other players to be able to come to the table knowing that they're going to break well too.
Yeah. He just sort of half collapsed on that, because I think he thought he missed it when he hit it.
Certainly wasn't a confident shot. Plays this one out. Looks for the one in the middle, I think.
So, who's your pick, Ben? No sitting on fences. You have to give us a name.
It's tough, especially with we're playing to a set of rules that not necessarily even top players are sort of familiar with, really. I've been debating it over the last sort of day or so, and I haven't. I'm not trying to sit on the fence, but I can't pick one.
Another bit of a mistake. Oh, I thought I was going to say a mistake. He sort of hit the wrong side of the ball and he tried to kick it out, and I didn't realise he was on that one through that gap. I thought he was trying to cut the other red into this bottom right corner. So
needs to create a bit here, though.
I think he's just going to have to take his medicine and just settle for a double on the black, Ben, is he?
Maybe might even have to play the red off the yellow to get back.
Red off the yellow and just sort of screw the cue ball back and settle. Because if he gets the cue ball straight on the black, he would expect to make that double.
Yeah. Maybe possibly screwing across. Oh my.
Well, if this doesn't bounce, he's not on the double. And I don't think he is on the double.
It's a bit of a clip to the middle.
Oh, God. Oh, the clip to the middle's not nice. Across the nap.
I wouldn't want to be playing this at 7-3 day.
This is a big shot. I think he needs this to stay in the match.
8-3 is a big gap. Great shot.
Fantastic black.
What a shot that is.
Fantastic black. Brilliant. And he dragged it as well. And the benefit of dragging it, playing it like that, is it helps to hold the cue ball on line before it gets to the black.
No roll off.
No roll off, and then it sort of delays in pace. And it basically just allows you to strike the cue ball a little bit harder, almost without striking it harder.
Yeah. If you're dollying the ball across the nap at that pace, tend to see a roll off or hit a finger mark. He's played that really well. He's lost a white.
If you do want to keep tracks of any of the scores, you can go on over to Q Score, obviously, and every table has got a tablet, so as soon as they put the scores up, it goes directly onto there, so there all the scores are live. The match on the other stream table, the main arena table, is Phil Harris and Chris Mallon. It's 5-4 to Phil. It looks like it's going all the way, that match. Jack Whelan, 4-3 up against Craig Waddingham.
I think this is the first break where they've been slightly clustered.
Yeah. And even that is only sort of this one little cannon now, isn't it?
Not much work to be done, but it's certainly the least open break that we've seen.
The reason that he just stopped there is because if he clips the yellow on the way in with the cue ball, he may push it to the side rail, and then if the cue ball somehow sticks to the red, he may have no shot. I know that might sound a little bit sort of...
If he can just try and pinch a bit of the angle with some side and hit the red full ball,
that's what he wants.
He's guaranteed, isn't he?
He's guaranteed, but I think he's got a little bit too much angle. So he's concerned about snicking the yellow on the way in and pushing it over to the rail, and then either having no shot or making the finish a little bit tricky. So I like the fact. So I think he can maybe pot the yellow into the other middle and come into it from the other angle.
I think how he plays this now, depending on, he either picks his spot or just plays it with a little bit more pace just to try and clear the white out. Went to play for a bit of pace.
And
Not sure if that one goes.
To it.
Did it stick on the rack?
Oh, I didn't see actually. It was hard to generate any power, wasn't it, because he was so straight.
I've got a feeling he's just wobbled into one of the slots on the shark rack there.
Good shot.
Clever shot.
Clever shot, how he used the half-ball red to play the cue ball on and off the side cushion. That wasn't an accident. He played the cue ball off the red, half ball, off the side cushion and back over.
Bit unfortunate not to actually have come in behind one of the yellows, because there's a finish on here for reds, provided that red sneaks past the black into the middle. If he can make this shot, then he's giving himself a chance here.
He may not have to play it hard off the two reds, Ben. He could leave it until last and just top through, and that's what he's doing. And then the black goes into that left middle. So he'll leave it as his last ball. Just important that he finishes straight, isn't it, on the ball at the rail? If he's not straight on the ball at the rail, then he's in trouble.
If he does finish straight on it, I think he's pretty much guaranteed from there. Just wants to mind his work on these few balls up here just to make sure he does finish straight.
I like this, though. I think it's easier to get straight on the one at the rail off the one in bulk. I think a lot of players would have kept the one over the middle there and thought it's easier, but definitely easier to get on the ball he wants up the rail off this one.
You're travelling the similar line, aren't you?
Yeah. As long as you're not dead straight. No, that's okay.
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. And that looks pretty good.
I was going to say, just wanted the white just above the middle bag, which is pretty much where he is.
He may play this into the cushion first and off the yellow, slightly. Oh, he's found the gap.
I think you needed to be committed there, whether you played.
Yeah,
whether you played off the yellow or whether you went for the bag.
Yeah, yeah. And he found the gap, didn't he, of the pocket and the yellow?
It's almost like he wasn't sure which way he was going to go, and
So now at these rules, all you now do is just play the yellow onto the red, pot the red, and just stop the cue ball where it is, and it's lost a turn, and he just plays from where the cue ball is.
How similar these are then to the rules that you play?
They're almost identical.
What's the main difference then? They
Um,
are obviously very, very similar.
They've just made a few tweaks. One from the break off. See, he hasn't. Good shot.
Same result.
Very good shot. Same result, just a different way of playing it. Good shot. Yeah, there's just there's a few minor rules. One of them is from the break off, where cue ball behind the line, you can play any ball. At the Chinese, you have to play a ball that's past the line. There's just a few minor tweaks. Nothing major really. The base of the rules are identical, and almost identical to the American BCA rules as well.
Is there much difference between those two sets of rules, the Chinese and the American BCA?
Again, fractionally. There's just fractions, but you know, like I say, the main base of the rules are the same.
Certainly an interesting adaptation to the mindset. When I sort of turned up and started watching on Friday, I was looking around and thinking, wow, what's going on here? But then certainly quickly get your head around what's going on and start thinking about the game in a different way.
Yeah, and certainly for you, Ben, coming from a world rules mindset, it's completely different, because a mindset of world rules and of when you're winning during the frame, as in if we're playing each other and you've got a ball over the pocket, your mindset will be, well, that's security, that's me winning the frame, or not winning the frame, but that's me in control, where a ball over the pocket at these rules is the opposite. You're in trouble. You don't want it over the hole.
Yeah.
And what that does do, that might sound like a negative, but what that does do is, if you miss your finish and you miss your last ball at the rail or miss your ball up the cushion, you don't gain an advantage from that.
No, there's certainly
It punishes you for missing.
More for missing with these.
Yeah.
And also the thing with what you just mentioned there with sort of covering the pocket, from a world rules point of view, obviously the black ball players are a little bit more used to that, because the skill shot almost brings that into play as well, where you can just pot your bow from top one of the second ball in. Yeah,
and I think people's mindset of these are new rules, they're new rules to English 8-ball, but they're not new rules. They've been playing these rules worldwide for years. These are the most recognised set of rules at 8-ball all over the world. These are what they play in America. These are what they play in China. They're what they play everywhere.
Well, it's an interesting thing you just said there about they've been playing these rules worldwide for years, but you still hear of pool players around the country say, "Oh, do we still play? Are you playing new rules or old rules?" Whereas world rules have been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
But you still hear people saying, "Oh, the new rules."
In this country or in the UK, you do. Yeah. But worldwide, they look at you and go, well, what the hell are those? World, what the hell are those? What do you mean you have two shots and then you keep your two shots to the black? They can't. There's a lot of rules regarding that, especially the two-shot carry rule, that they go, what? So if I get to the black and I still haven't missed, I've still got my two shots. You know, the two shots carry rule is the one that. And people think this is a deliberate foul. It's not a deliberate foul. It's just a loss of turn. It's just your mind. Once you change your mindset and understand the rules, everyone will understand that they are by far the better set.
Yeah, no, when I got here, I was a little bit sort of taken aback, but it didn't take long to sort of get my head around
Once you've played them,
and think, well, actually, that is really good.
Once you've played them, I mean, one thing it does guarantee, especially from a taking the game forward point of view of TV, live stream, you're not going to have a 40, 50-minute frame like you can have at World Rules or like you can sometimes have at Black Ball Rules. If there's two players playing that know how to play the rules to their advantage, it's impossible to have a frame of that length of time because they're too attacking.
Well, they want to get on and win, and they don't want to be sat around here.
Well, the rules sort of don't allow you to do that, because it's just almost you go for your finish and you have to go. If you miss, you lose. There's nowhere to hide. There's no, I'm not feeling very good today. I need to roll the ball over the...
Certainly makes it more viewable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is what the game needs.
Yeah. And
7-5 then.
It's 7-5, but I think within a couple of minutes it's going to be 8-5 because I don't think money making is going to be missing these reds. This is a dead set plan. After playing this, he'll play the one that's on the balk line. Knew no matter where that went, he'd always have this one on the balk line.
Perfect as well, just the angle, just to stun back out.
He'd like to play the stun because then he's playing on a choice of 2 balls, isn't he? If he stuns
to the right of the table.
Yeah, if he stuns to the right of the table, he was playing on a choice of 2 balls, but played a good. He actually played to use the knuckle there. It's a good shot. That's not so good.
Well, I've just created a little bit of work for himself there.
Yeah.
Still imagine him to run the frame out, but
he's got to now come off this top cushion. And when you come off the top cushion, that can happen. Oh, I thought I was going to creep behind the yellow. And now he's got a pot of black rather than having a tap in. Still expect him to get it, but well, there you go.
Happen. Just from not finishing straight on that red in the middle.
And you know, when I said before, Ben, 4 or 5 frames ago, about sometimes when you got a really easy finish, you do just need to take that extra few seconds just to make and go, right, you know, I'm making sure I'm not missing these.
I know all about taking those extra few seconds.
We did say seconds, Ben, not minutes, was it?
Sorry, yeah, well, there is that, yeah. Probably feathered the cue ball about 75 times.
And listen, in the context of that match, 8-5, 7-6, that's a big turning point.
It's huge.
So Craig's dry. Just come over and down the rest of the 3/4 of the pint he had left. That tells you what he thought of that break. And I presume that he can get through to the potting angle of this long red that goes up into this bottom left corner.
So you got the angle there just to nick the red off the cushion.
Not
I think he might
sure
be
if he's just missing it, is he?
I think he's a bit too fine on it. Could have been doing a bit straighter, I reckon.
He could pot the inside one into the left middle and come off the cushion and try and aim almost for the yellow and find the angle again.
Yeah, Or maybe nip between the two yellows off the...
Yeah.
And screw up off the bottom right-hand red into him.
Yeah.
Although he does run the risk of keeping the red on the rail there, but if it goes directly into the yellow, that's the angle he's looked for.
Yeah, he played to screw into that and sort of to leave the angle on the one in the middle, and I don't think he's got an angle on either of them yet.
Could possibly find it after his jack. No. Did have the angle.
Good news, bad news. Good news is he's flicked it out. The bad news is he's lost the cue ball and he's got a tough first shot now. Took no time getting down on this though. Oh wow!
Again, that's what you were describing him earlier on, as he just backs himself.
Yeah.
And confident in his ability. Even though he's pulled out a great pot there, he's given himself a little bit of work to do with the black. May need to just find an angle on the red in the middle. Bump into the yellow and push the yellow into the black to bring it out and leave himself on the red in the right-hand corner.
So that's
eggs in one basket and gone for the
that's
double.
told us that he's going to settle for the double. Or is he screwing into it?
Give himself the angle.
You think he wished he'd have settled for the double now, because
guaranteed a shot.
He's now got no double, and he's now got no treble, and he's now basically got no shot.
I think from Craig's point of view, where he handed him a frame, last frame, he may well be sat down, sort of feeling a little bit more comfortable to have seen the white land there with this shot.
Given that obviously a foul is only ball in hand, given where the yellows are, because there's a couple of tricky yellows, I think it's important to keep the black in play here, Ben.
If he just dumps it into the middle of the table, maybe get the white on the bottom cush.
Yeah, at least sort of make Craig play a shot, or at least ask the question rather than lamp it around the table and foul. And I think that's what he'll do. And that's exactly what he has done. Great shot. Okay. Well, you can argue that he's probably going to be snookered behind this yellow here on the top rail, but Craig does the side rail. Sorry, but Craig doesn't want to play that because he's leaving him a one cushion kick.
One cushion escape, yeah. There's still two awkward rails just below the middle pockets on either side of the table.
Very good shot that, and I think Craig's almost got to play this.
And maybe get the yellow.
Oh God. He got, well, the reason he got the double kiss is because he was trying to block the across.
The yellow will get the yellow in front of it.
Yeah, he was trying to be clever and block the across.
Here, possibly.
Well, I think he can definitely pot it into the left corner. It's just where's the cue ball. Sound like Willie Fawn there. There's the cue ball.
I think if he does pot it, it could be coming across the table.
Oh, he's potted it, has he?
No.
Ooh, I thought he got that.
Still kept the black in play though and put some sort of pressure on Craig here.
Does this leave the two cushion escape?
It does. Of course, remember near as well with these rules, you do even have to make the cushion after contact.
Yeah, there's no total snooker. Is the yellow in the way a little bit, or can he? He's got to get close to the yellow, hasn't he? The one, the one that's in the middle of the table.
I feel
he's
that's
got
not far off.
Oh no, he did hit that.
He snicked it.
He did hit that. I don't know if Lakin thinks he didn't. I know he. Free go at the one down the cushion.
So going to keep himself snookered on there if he misses, but you can also play it at the perfect pace where he gives himself the best chance. Clean.
One thing I will say with Lakin is he does play quick, and at times, as we saw in that last frame, too quick. But when he's actually down on the shot, he's not too quick, Ben. You know what I mean?
Around the table, he's quite
around
quick,
the table, he's quick. But when he's actually down on the shot, he doesn't actually rush the shot, does he?
There's a few feathers in there, and then he strikes the cue ball. It's not just like a single swing.
And his take back is quite slow if you watch, Luke. So he's not, the whole shot's not being rushed, is it?
Well, they've kind of handed each other a frame now, I think.
I can tell you Phil Harrison has taken a 8 frames to 4 lead against Malin. Hibbert is absolutely flying again, 9-2 up against Josh Kane. Declan Brennan 6-5 up against Carl Morris. Jack Whelan 6-5 down to Waddingham. Dunster is flying again, 7-1 against O'Donoghue. McAllister 3-2 against Cousins. Toomey, there's not too many quicker than Toomey.
He's lightning, isn't he?
9-4 up against Clark. There is some other scores still going on the loser side, but I can't really be bothered to read all them out, to be honest. Oh, no, actually, there is only a couple of live ones. So Andrew Mackey is 6-4 up against Jez Graham, and Ronan McCarthy is 7-6 up against Clint Jansen. All the others are results. You can check all those out on qscore.com.
Just sort of touching a little bit back on Home Leisure Direct. You've had a sort of a relationship with them for a while. You were sponsored by them for a few years back, weren't you?
Yeah, I've worked and been sponsored by Home Leisure for, I can't actually remember the year it was, but I reckon it's between 8 and 10 years that I've been sponsored and worked closely with different things with Home Leisure and Andy and Michelle. So, yeah, they're a fantastic company, and I was sort of involved with them, sort of not from the very, very start, but when they just sort of broke into it and started to become big, and they've just been an amazing company to work with over the time. And we've now got I've got a sort of pool dining table that I sort of endorsed with them, my own sort of range, and they're now the exclusive distributor of the Joy products, and I do coaching days that are exclusive to Home Leisure, so I do a load of different things with them, and I've become sort of they're not only somebody that I work with, but they're somebody that I'm sort of very close friends with Andy now, and a lot of the guys down there that I've known for a long time. So they're just a great company to work for, and a great company to deal with. And I'm sure you know that they're, having worked there now, they're a great company to work for.
I've been there 5 months now, and it's been an awesome time. Yeah, I really enjoy it there, and it's.
No, I couldn't speak highly enough of them, and that was something that when I was almost like the middleman between them signing the deal with Joy to be the exclusive distributor of their products, I just said, look, you can't pick a better company professionalism-wise. They're the largest retailer in the UK, so all round it just made sense for Joy to do the deal with them, and you couldn't pick a better company.
Certainly lots going on with them as well. They're looking to do awful lot of things as well with new tables that are coming out, and there's sort of quite exciting times with them.
Yeah. If any of you wondering what we're on about the title sponsor of this grand final event, which is Home Leisure Direct. Check out their website for. They have got showrooms down in Bristol, but they're predominantly just an online company. So all of the products are listed on their website, and it's a very good website. So check it out. There is thousands of different products they do for, as Ben said, sort of a man cave or anything to do with your luxury of going into your house. Pool tables, dining tables, pool dining tables. There's thousands of products. Check it out.
A lot of which as well still available for delivery for Christmas.
Quick fire clearance there. That's from Gillespie, which basically has said to Craig, look, I'm still in this match. You're going to have to win it. Although Craig is hitting the brakes, sweet as a nut.
Wow.
And oh dear, look at these yellows. Providing he can get through to this one into the...
well, either or, really.
Either or, isn't it? Yeah. He could actually go reds.
Gone for the reds there. Obviously took the long one in. A little bit more pressure than if he had been on nicely on the yellow, but just cued it in, sweet as a nut. Expecting to just knock these in now.
I can tell you that the McCarthy Clint Jansen score is now 7 each.
Played that well.
Just wanted to see how. Where's the? Just looking for the Farnsworth score. I can see that him and Ben Davies have finished, but I can't see who won.
Again, just shows you how well Craig is breaking there. Didn't take him long at all to just run that frame out. Very little work to do, just knocked in the long red and then just dropped the rest of them in.
Can't see the Farnsworth match on there. But they have finished, him and Ben. If any of you out there that are listening do know the Farnsworth result, then do pop it on the live chat for us.
Oh, really didn't know why.
Okay, Q score, thanks to Richard there, he says Q score shows 7-4 to Farnsworth, so he must have won because the match has finished. So,
whilst the scoreline here obviously shows Craig is 9-7 up, this is still an important frame here for Craig. If he can nick this one and just get himself to 10-7, it would make a massive difference rather than being 9-8. So he just wants to be a bit careful here and mind his work. Hopefully negotiate the awkward red just by the yellow there on the left-hand side of the table, which I think he'll do now. And
great
he's played
shot.
that really well.
Great shot.
Big difference here from 10-7 or 9-8.
Looks strong to me, Craig. He just looks sort of good in all departments. Okay, yeah, we know that he rushes the odd shot and whatever, but that's all a part of his makeup, isn't it? It's a part of the way he plays. But other than the odd slack shot, he has looked very comfortable and he has had the cue ball under control.
As you mentioned, just sort of happy-go-lucky and hasn't let anything affect him. He's just
Yeah, and we said at the start, you know, sometimes you can have the cue ball sort of pinging about a little bit. I think he has had it under control, and
there's a prime example there.
Yeah, perfect angle, stuns over, and he doesn't really look like missing. He certainly never looks like missing many balls anyway, because he does hit the ball nice. Anytime he does look like missing is when he has the cue ball flying about, and when he doesn't have the cue ball flying about, he doesn't look like missing.
Slightly awkward cue in there, but just played it well, just screwed himself back into the yellow to guarantee himself a shot.
Didn't know if he was going to play that with run inside and just, you know, come around and play on the black into the middle, but maybe he was straight and he's had to manufacture an angle. You see how I was saying there, Ben, how he, when he's down on the shot, he does stay completely still, and he takes a long time. He actually probably took double the amount of time on that.
As we were saying there, weren't there, earlier on, just about that extra little bit of time when you have got that shot that you know it's got that extra little bit of weight to it, and he made sure on that, stayed down, cued a couple more times, and really did make sure of that shot. He knew the importance.
Yeah, thanks to the guys on the live chat. Confirmed that Farnsworth did win 8-4, and I thought he must have won because he's walking in here with a big smile on his face. Normally he'd be growling.
Craig back now. He'll be hoping to continue the form of his break. He'll sneak himself over the line, 11-7. I must say he has played really, really well this match and broke extremely well as well. Wow.
The blacks just come and spoiled the party, I think.
Can he not sneak past into the red just below the yellow to the left-hand side of the table?
I don't think he can. I think the blacks just come and sat in the way.
No, you can't see that. Right into the middle.
Okay, so they're asking on the stream who will Farnsworth play now. I'm not sure, to be honest. No, I don't know. I can't even see Farnsworth's name on the screen I've got in front of me, so I'm not sure. Maybe if you can see on the Q score, you can see the draw. Maybe you can put it on. According to the draw that I can see on here, if I went down in the names, it would be Ian Alley against Adam Davies, Christy Caulfield against Darren McVicker, Darren Appleton against Dylan Leary. It would be Ryan Pisani against Mick Hill. And then it would be either Ronan or Clint against Chipperfield. And it would be Tobias Bolt against either Jez or Mackie. Mark Wood has confirmed that it is Sheppy that Farnsworth now plays.
Chance here now for Craig. Just wondering how much angle he's got, whether he can sneak enough to maybe dislodge the red by the yellow. Good angle on the yellow.
Good angle and good shot. So, providing this comes out, it's game over. He doesn't want to pot that, though.
Doesn't want that in.
And it has come out, and it is game over. And Scott will obviously be disappointed the way he's played. Certainly towards the end, he's missed a couple of chances that maybe would have been the difference, certainly maybe even level in the scoreline. But
well.
You can't take anything away from the way that Lakin's played here. He's played pretty faultless, really. So, and obviously a really good win, because there's no doubt that Gillespie is one of, if not the best player in the world at this minute in time. So this is a great win for Lakin and a very good performance. He's just give it the fist there, which shows you what it means. And what that does mean...
Won't be hoping for a kick.
Well, what that does mean is that he's through, guaranteed, to the last 16, which is a single elimination knockout tomorrow. Scott Gillespie is still in and has one other chance to qualify, and one more chance to qualify through the loser section into the last 16 tomorrow. But that's Lakin definitely qualified straight through the winner's side.
Great match, though.
Into the last 16 tomorrow. So congratulations, Craig. Good performance, and I'm sure whoever Goobs plays, he'll sort himself out, dust himself down, and come back again. So thanks for watching. I'm not sure if there's another match on this table tonight or on this stream or not, to be honest, guys. But I'll check that for you and come back to you. And thanks to Ben.
Thanks, Gaz.
For joining us in the commentary, and we'll see you later.